Bringing you back to an incident at Ribault High School, accidental but nonetheless a cause for concern. A student in the hospital this evening after being hit by a bullet on campus at Ribault High. That student suffering non-life-threatening injuries. The student who brought the gun to campus is now in custody. DCPS calls that incident accidental, and our Kaylee Tracy joins us now from Ribault High School with the latest.
Yeah, Jeff, we actually just heard from Lieutenant with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, who did just tell us that student, as you mentioned, the one who was shot tonight, he thankfully will be okay, suffering from non-life-threatening injuries. As for the other student that allegedly the discharge and had possession of that weapon on campus, that 18-year-old student is now facing a felony possession of a firearm on school campus. And we did hear tonight again from JSO, as well as the school board police here and members of the school system. Dr. Diana Green, Superintendent Dr. Diana Green, was here as well. She did not speak, but it did show that there were a lot of people out here from both the school system and law enforcement informing us of what happened tonight. And now a school board member, it does tell us that it was another student, as we said, who had that gun that accidentally went off. JSO tonight would not comment on whether or not they know if it was accidental yet. It still obviously is under investigation in the early stages of that. But since we arrived around 2:15, 2:30 today, we saw resource officers as well as the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office here on scene. And due to the incident, the principal telling us tonight that he is very disappointed and angry about what happened. He said it does not reflect their school or the school system in general. But because of this incident, he says that starting Monday, they'll start screening all students here at Ribault High School with metal detectors. They did have random backpack searches that they thought would prevent incidents like this. That one did actually happen today. We're hearing that this incident from a school board member we're hearing happened possibly in the field house on campus. And as I said, it still is under investigation. We're working to learn more details as well. One last thing I want to share with you, the principal here, his message to families tonight. He said, quote, "I'm disappointed to end a great week on this note, and please remind your students that firearms or weapons of any type are not permitted at school." Now, the Ribault football team does have a football game tonight, not here on campus, but they said that there will be heightened security. They don't think there are any other incidents. They think this is isolated, but they are going to have security in place even more than usual tonight just to be safe. We'll bring you more details as they become available, but for now, reporting on the north side, Kaylee Tracy, First Coast News on your side.